Yeah, I hear you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're now joined by Denny Hamlin, driver number 11 JGR Toyota, and our third place finisher. We're going to open up the floor for questions for Denny. As a reminder, if you do have a question, please click the raise your hand option in the participants tab, or you can send me a chat. We will give everyone a couple seconds to form their questions. And Denny, can you just talk us through those final laps there in the overtime?
Yeah, I mean, just disappointed. I didn't do a good job. Just, I don't know, lack of focus, whatever it is, just not executing. If you have control of a green white checkered on a speedway, most of the time the wind's going to come from the front row, and you got to just make sure you make the right moves. And I just didn't after I took the green. I just don't know what I was doing, and I didn't have a push from the 21, and I was clear of the 24, and just didn't pull down. I don't know what I was doing. So disappointing, but I guess we escaped some mayhem. We were in some mayhem. Just a crazy race. Everyone, kind of out there for themselves, and all the pushing and shoving and, body slamming and whatnot. So, decent finish, but, hate having control and not finishing.
All right. Well, we are going to take our first question for Denny from Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan.
Denny, during that last caution, it looked like you got up next to the 24 car and looked at the tire. Is that correct?
Yeah, they wanted us to look at it.
And what did you see? Was everything look okay?
The Goodyear was rubbed off of it, and it looked like the left rear quarter panel was cutting into the sidewall, or the sidewall right where the tread meets. So I told him, I don't want to make the call. It's definitely rubbing. It's just a matter of weighing the risk. I think that they needed. I said, I don't know. Think about your situation and do whatever you think's best.
In your opinion, without saying it though, were you thinking you guys need to pit, or were you?
Well, I think going for his first win.
Would you want to pit in that situation?
No, I mean, going for my first win. No, I think going for your first win is bigger than making the playoffs. To be honest, I think he gets a good shot to go for his first win if he stays out. So, it wasn't smoking bad when he was weaving, but there was definitely a rub there. But just it lasted 2 laps. That's all it needs to do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll take our next question from Cole Kusamuna. Go ahead, Cole.
Hey, Denny, congrats on the third place finish. You had a pretty good look at the move made by Tyler Reddick. A lot of guys were criticizing him for being pretty aggressive there late in the running. Do you have any opinion on that, or do you blame him for being aggressive going for that win?
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't blame them. I mean, everyone makes the moves they think is good for them. It's tough when you switch lanes in the middle of a corner. It definitely you put yourself. These things have such big closing rates. It's hard to slide up in front of someone. Even on the last lap, I slid up in front of somebody that I was just not clear. Luckily, we hung, but we didn't crash. So it's just really tough with the big runs that these cars get to make big abrupt moves. But most of the guys that win make those moves. It's just they make it work.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and our next question will come from Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Denny, how did you feel the guys who were trying to kind of race their way into the playoffs were racing tonight? Did you feel like, when you were around and you see Reddick make a move like he did, are you like, well, that's what you got to do if you're going to try to win and get in?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with the move I saw him make, he was trying to get to the top and get cleared and not get stuck on the bottom. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't fault anyone for any moves, even if they don't work. Like, it's just they think that it will work at the time, so they're doing what's best for them. For 10 years, well, for 8 years of my career, I couldn't do anything right on the super speedway. So I certainly can't judge anyone that pulls a move off and doesn't make it work.
And kind of looking ahead, when did you start focusing on playoffs this year? Like, was there a point this year where you were like, okay, we know we're solid. I'm thinking what we have to do to be good in the final 10 race.
Well, we haven't shifted our focus from our daily routine and weekly routine of focusing our efforts on winning that particular week, because if you want to make it through the playoffs, you build up a cushion through your playoff points to go out there and go through the playoffs. So we focus every week on, next week there will not be any more effort put in than what has been put in during the regular season. That's why we have the playoff points we have, is because we focus every week as if we have to win this week.
Thank you.
All right, and our final question for Denny will come from Sterling with KCOU. Go ahead, Sterling.
Thank you. Denny, congrats on the good finish tonight. Obviously with Daytona, it for years it's been held 4th of July weekend. This year it got moved to the last race of the regular season. How did the move impact the intensity of the racing as it got later and later into the race, at least from your perspective, if it impacted it at all?
Yeah, I thought it did. I mean, maybe. If you would look at this race historically as well, it typically is a wild and crazy race. But when you have everyone kind of fighting for those, spot in the playoffs, it's going to be even crazier. So it gets down to the last 10 laps, and if you have anybody remotely that needs a win in the top 5, they're going to make aggressive moves, and aggressive moves most times don't work out. I mean, it's an aggressive, it's deemed and defined as an aggressive move because it's not traditional and it hasn't worked in the past very much. So, there's a risk reward, but these people have nothing to lose at this point. When it gets down to the final race of the regular season, 10 laps to go, they're going to do everything they can.
Thanks, Denny.
All right, Denny. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on the finish, and we will see you at Darlington.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thank you.